Members of Parliament, ladies and gentlemen, we continue after just a brief adjournment as the ministers transition from one ministry to another. And I invite the Minister of Tourism, Economic Affairs, Transport and Telecommunication, Mrs. St Maarten, to take the floor to present her ministry's budget for 2025. Minister St Maarten, you have the floor.
Thank you, Madam Chair Lady. Good afternoon to you. Good afternoon to the Secretary General. Good afternoon to the members of Parliament, those sitting in the tribune, and those listening and viewing online, and also a pleasant or prosperous Happy New Year to one and all. In 2025, the Ministry of TIAT will be focused on reshaping our priorities, reforming outdated systems, and rebuilding our approach to governance with accountability at the core. Our focus is clear: to restore the policies that meet the evolving needs of our people and our economy, and through these decisive actions, we are not only reforming processes, but also rebuilding trust and reshaping the way we deliver services, ensuring that every step drives meaningful and sustainable growth. This is about adaptation, reshaping our vision, rebuilding our foundation, reforming our systems, and restructuring our policies to create a visible, lasting change for our community. However, we must recognize that 2025 represents not only the beginning stages of this term. This budget largely reflects the continuation of 2024, a foundation upon which we will build, refine, and implement the transformative changes needed to achieve our long-term goals. As Minister of TIAT, I firmly believe that collaboration is the cornerstone of progress, whether it's uniting efforts across ministries or building meaningful partnerships with private sector. We understand that with the current constraints of this conservative budget, it's impossible to achieve everything alone. But through teamwork, innovation, shared commitment, we can overcome challenges and deliver real results. Leadership isn't about doing it yourself. It's about empowering others to succeed alongside you. And as the saying goes, if you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, go together. This ministry is committed to leading with purpose, fostering collaboration, and driving the kind of progress that leaves no one behind. Together, we can achieve more than ever before. So on behalf of the Ministry of TIAT, I'd like to present to you what I call the R effect. The ministry is dedicated to supporting and enhancing the economic social development of St. Maarten. Our core responsibilities include tourism, economic affairs, traffic, and telecommunication. Most importantly, we are committed to creating opportunities for the people of our island and ensuring that everyone can benefit from our initiatives and projects. The following is an overview of the expenses of the ministry. These slides provide an overview of our operational expenses. The charts illustrate that the distribution of our budget between personnel and material costs. The personnel expenses can be seen on the left chart and the material expenses on the right, and along with a comparison between 2024 and 2025. Due to increasing salary scales, the personnel expenses grew by approximately 7% and material expenses remained unchanged. This, as you can see on the display, is an overview of the totals for operational expenses for the respective departments within the ministry. A significant portion of our expenses relates to personnel costs, as mentioned before. The following slides will cover a breakdown per department. Starting with ETT, the Policy Department budget for 2025, which totals are just over 1.7 million guilders. We have maintained material costs at 79,400 guilders, ensuring continuity in essential activities. Personnel costs has increased by 346,268 guilders compared to the amended 2024 budget, reflecting our commitment to enhancing our workforce to support policy development and implementation. By investing in our team and resources, we aim to drive economic growth and improve the quality of life for our community. Some key initiatives for 2025 within this department will include diversification and investments with emphasis on green, orange, and the blue economies, and in collaboration with the Ministry of Finance and the Central Bank of Curaçao and St Maarten, we aim to creating policies and legislations to foster fiscal reform and attract foreign direct investment. Next, we have energy and climate development of updated regulatory frameworks, policies on renewable energy and sustainable practices in collaboration with the Ministry of VRAMI and BTP. And third, an economic policy reporting and engagement that will focus on price monitoring, economic forecasting, modernization of existing policies, processes, and regulatory frameworks. Next, we go on to the Tourism Department. The STB, St Maarten Tourism Bureau budget is for 2025 totals over 6.1 million guilders. Material cost has remained stable at a little over 4.5 million guilders, ensuring that crucial activities such as marketing and projects are adequately funded. The R4 effect, like I mentioned earlier, guides our efforts in the Tourism Department. We're focused on reviving tourism despite externalities, reforming our marketing strategies, and rebuilding our reputation as a top destination and restructuring our budget to maximize impact. Displayed on this slide is an overview of the allocations of the marketing funds. Through stakeholder consultation, industry professionals provided critical insights that led us to rethink how these funds should be utilized to optimize return on investment for the respective market. There are stakeholders representation I'm talking about is I met with some hotels in the hospitality industry. So for example, from their perspective, their stakeholders within the tourism sector, it is highlighted that marketing efforts should be primarily focused on markets such as US, Canada, Caribbean, and Europe. I am, however, of the opinion that in today's digital age, prioritizing online travel agencies, OTAs, influencers, and familiarization trips, which is FAM trips, is the most impactful way to market a country, especially given our limited resources. Here's why. Our OTA provides global visibility at low cost with a per-performance model and data-driven targeting. Influencers offer authentic, relatable content, reaching niche audience for a fraction of traditional advertising costs. And FAM trips deliver earned media and long-term relationships, allowing journalists and bloggers to promote your destination through credible organic storytelling. Large marketing firms are costly, less agile, and often focus on broad strategies that may not align with immediate needs. Also, considering my marketing background, I am confident that had I been given the opportunity to craft this marketing plan before contracts was handed out and budgets diluted, I believe we would have achieved more focused and cost-effective outcomes. The strategy I outlined earlier would have ensured authenticity, measurable results, maximum impact for the investment. And it is not about how much you have, it's how wisely you use it. Next, we go over to the Economic License Department. Under the R4 effect, we are striving to reshape our licensing processes and reform outdated system to promote efficiency. We're actively working on streamlining our processes to improve our services and considering a collaborative and also considering a collaborative effort with public-private partnership to address the backlog. This initiative aims to generate additional revenue through payment of license fees. When it comes to the Stat Department, it is important to know that although the Department of Statistics has not seen significant changes in its budget for 2025 in comparison to the amended 2024 budget, during the 2024 budget amendment, we were forced to make substantial cuts. This resulted in an inability for us to perform the economic census survey, which is used to calculate critical data for the commercial sector. The total budget is a little over 1.3 million guilders, with personnel costs of 1.1 million guilders and material costs remaining steady at 224,071 guilders. Compared to the amended 2024 budget, we've increased our personnel costs by 80,406 guilders. Accurate and timely data is crucial for informed policy making, which is essential for boosting the overall and well-being of our economy. By providing essential statistical research and analysis, the department plays a vital role aiding in informed decision making as we create policies that drive economic growth and improve public services. With this in mind, we will be actively pursuing alternative means to achieve research that is mandatory. Next, we go on to the Inspection Department, which has a total budget of 6.3 million guilders for 2025. This includes personnel costs amounting to just over 6.2 million guilders and material costs totaling 142,474 guilders. The Inspection Department plays a critical role in ensuring compliance and regulation standards, thereby maintaining public interest and trust. As I present here today, an advice is making its round for a buff-pal training for 9 inspectors. By investing in training and development, we aim to enhance the skills of the inspectors, which will ultimately lead to more efficient and effective inspection. Also noteworthy, during this month, the Inspectorate of Economic and Transport Affairs will implement a re-registration process for all vehicle permit holders. The aim is to create a more strategic confirmation letter process to combat the rising fraud in the passenger transport sector. This updated approach will improve accountability, reduce fraudulent activities, and ensure permits are used actively and legitimately. A confirmation letter issued annually is required for permit holders to obtain road tax for passenger transportation vehicles. Reports of misuse and inactive use of permits have necessitated the new process. So further details about the registration steps and deadlines will be published in the local newspaper this coming week. Next we have, and I think it's the last of the departments, Civil Aviation and Maritime. For the Civil Aviation and Maritime budget for 2025, the totals are just over 1.9 million guilders. Material costs remain stable at 205,860 million guilders, ensuring that essential membership are continued and mandatory travel for trainings are adequately funded. Personnel costs has increased by 67,042 guilders compared to the amended 2024 budget. While on the slide, I would like to inform you of our strategic priorities and measures we are taking to enhance our aviation and maritime sectors. Currently, we are preparing for the upcoming International Civil Aviation Organization, ICAO, audit. Our goal is to ensure full compliance with the ICAO standards and recommendation practices, which is the SARPs. Additionally, we are prioritizing the attainment of Category 1 certification. Achieving this certification will alleviate our civil aviation sector to meet the highest international safety standards, enhancing our reputation and operational capabilities. As it pertains to the marine sector, although the 2025 budget is tight, like I kind of alluded earlier, we are committed to exploring innovative ways to generate additional revenues from this sector. By reinvesting these funds, we aim to support the growth and the development of a critical industry positioning St. Maarten as a premier global leader in maritime activities. The recent economic impact study underscores the significant contribution of the maritime sector to our GDP. It is therefore imperative that we focus on the sustainable practices and strategic investment to ensure long-term prosperity for our maritime industry. This is the last department, sorry. The Met Department budget for 2025 totals 1.9 million guilders. I mentioned it earlier, but the material cost was kept consistently at 133,511 guilders, which ensures we continue to fund essential activities like training, membership contribution. Personnel costs have seen an increase of 135,331 guilders compared to the amended 2021 budget. This year, we should be able to begin construction on a new building that will house both the Met and the Civil Aviation Department. This state-of-the-art facility will provide a modern and efficient space to support our critical operations, ensuring we deliver accurate and timely weather information and maintain high standards in the civil aviation. Next, I'd like to present key projects and investments. Beginning with the E6, or one of the projects that we're doing under the country packages, the E6. The E6 team, which focuses on the improvement of the entrepreneurial and investment climate, currently has 7 projects in the following areas, such as digitizing and centralizing the license procedure for the Department of Economic Licenses and the Chamber of Commerce, and legislation review and amendments of the respective ordinances in regards to doing business, research on investment promotion agency, education programs for the MSMEs, and the agri-sector, and the possibility of financing accordingly. In Q1 of 2025, these projects will commence and provide the necessary changes we have been waiting for in regards to doing businesses and attracting right investments to our shores. Next, we have the A2. Okay. The A2 team, which focuses on strengthening the use of the reliable statistical information and data for policy development and decision-making, has made great headway despite capacity challenges. As of mid-January, the requests made by the ministry since August 2024 for additional support by way of project managers to assist has been recently approved, and persons will be assigned and compensated by TWO. Said project managers, in coordination with the project team, will review and add via the respective legislation as required. The review of the first draft has been completed as of Q1, will be completed as of Q1 2025, and the team is diligently working on the second draft for review. The legislation is also going to take into consideration the establishment of the ZBO and making the Department of Statistics an independent authority. Next, we have the H2. These are the 3 country packages. Update on the H2. This team is the gaming and gambling reform in St. Maarten. So as of December 2024, the project team has completed the legislation framework, which was the larger focus towards establishing the St. Maarten Gaming Authority. And the project will be working on the selected company, which is GLI, for the next 8 months, starting as of January 2025 on a feasibility study. This study will include a stakeholder consultation, technical regulations, and designing of organization structure and its operational budget and revenue projections for this sector of to name a few. This new study for establishing the Gaming Authority will now provide the details needed to enhance and complete the legislation framework. Next, we go over to capital investments for 2025, which focuses on key infrastructure projects. The largest investment is the 9.5 million guilders for the construction of the new Met and Civil Aviation building, which will provide a modern, efficient space for our operation. And the Met Department will receive 525,000 guilders for new furnitures and equipment for their new building, and an additional 900,000 guilders for the purchase of equipment. Next, we will be going through, giving an overview of the ongoing projects of the ministry. The Sweliga Marketplace, though it met with several setbacks, is now projected to restart construction in January 2025. In addition, following our productive meeting with businesses in town and bus and tour operators, all preparations are in place to launch the Stop and Shop program. This pilot project is in collaboration with the Ministry of Rami, which has taken the responsibility for the demolition of the wall of the old administration building facing the Walter Nisbet Road. And as a temporary measure, the new bus terminal will be located in front of the big white tent that's there right now. And meanwhile, while that is going to be established, the mini train doing tours has already been providing services to drop off visitors at the temporary marketplace to drive customers to the location. The revitalization of Phillipsburg starts with a development of the beautification master plan. The master plan consists of the not only beautification aspect, but also serve as a guide as we strive to promote a foot traffic throughout our capital, while taking into consideration environment, sustainability, as well as infrastructural best practices. The development of the master plan will rely heavily on stakeholders' input. Once this master plan is completed, we can then move to the implementation, where we would identify priority projects and seek industry professionals to execute the agreed upon plan of approach. The execution of these projects will be in collaboration and efforts between the Ministry of TIAT and VRAMI, as well as the private sector. We are also working out a city manager concept to ensure the maintenance of our future investment. Our aim is to transform Phillipsburg into an entertainment capital by enhancing the aesthetics, the ambience, and the overall experience one feels when visiting our capital. Next project is the cultural script and hospitality training. As a key observation has been that many individuals within the hospitality sector have varying and inconsistent narratives about St. Maarten. For example, many are unfamiliar with the country's national dish. Some lack knowledge of St. Maarten's history and tend to share inaccurate or fabricated stories. To address this, the Ministry of TIAT, in collaboration with the Ministry of ECYS, is committed to developing a cultural script. This script will serve as a comprehensive guide to St. Maarten's cultural heritage, historical facts, and unique identity and offering. Once completed, the plan is to incorporate this cultural script into a hospitality training program. This initiative aims to standardize knowledge across the industry, equip all hospitality workers with accurate and engaging information about St. Maarten to share with visitors. And while the details and the duration and timing and fees for this training are still under discussion, the program is expected to become mandatory for everyone in the hospitality industry. The overarching goal is to ensure that every individual interacting with tourists provides a consistent, authentic, and professional representation of St. Maarten. And this initiative underscores our commitment to enhancing our visitor experience while fostering pride in St. Maarten's rich history. Another thing that we plan to do that I haven't added in my notes is to also include this in the schools, in the primary schools, as maybe just like you do the traffic course, we do maybe a brand ambassador course. So this cultural script can also be maybe something we can discuss with ECYS to embed it in the schools. Last, and one before last, is the maritime sector improvement. We are committed to developing the maritime industry to contribute even more than it already does to our economy. I firmly believe that this industry is underserved and has potential to propel the island to a forefront of global maritime market. With the economic impact study now finalized, we can proceed with the implementation of the recommendations for which I intend to implement a work group consisting of industry leaders along with representatives from the relevant departments throughout the organization, from the Ministry of Justice, Ministry of Rami, and the Ministry of VSA. And last, agricultural development. As we look ahead, ALF entity. One of the primary objectives this year is to take significant steps towards establishing this entity, and this will be achieved through stakeholders' collaboration to ensure all voices are heard, and consultations with experts to design the entity's framework. The goal is to have this ALF entity fully operational by 2026, providing focused leadership and support to the sectors. The sector holds a special place in my heart, and as many of you know, from my long-standing advocacy for importance of food security. So my commitment has been further reinforced through recent work visits to the French side, to St. Kitts and Barbados, where I engage in meaningful discussion with government officials. These meetings provided valuable insight into policies and legislation governing agriculture, best practices that has proven success in similar islands, and innovation and modernization within the sector to ensure sustainability. In collaboration with the General Affairs and the Department of Foreign Affairs, I aim to foster stronger relationships with our regional partners. Our ultimate plan includes signing memorandum of understanding with our northern partners of the French St Maarten, St. Kitts, and Barbados, which will focus on food security, ensuring access to affordable food through regional trade, knowledge sharing, leveraging expertise to strengthen our agriculture practices, and future investment and joint projects, collaboration, and initiatives that will benefit all parties. Similarly to our existing MOU with the Best Island and the Cas Islands, so the Bonaire, Statia, Saba, Curaçao, and Aruba. These islands also are part of something called the Dutch Caribbean Alliance Agriculture, Livestock, and Fishery. So this is also an ongoing collaboration MOU that we have that is supporting the ALF entity. An overview of new agencies that we are working on, and the ministry is working on. The R4 effect guides these initiatives. These agencies are designed to generate revenues, lower operational costs, and enhance service delivery, contributing to the overall well-being of our island. We are considering various funding options for the St Maarten Tourist, starting with the St Maarten Tourism Authority. One possibility being via a tourist entry fee, and it will take on the responsibility of marketing the island. This will reduce the need for the government expenditures on marketing while ensuring consistent and effective promotion for the tourism industry. The civil aviation industry will ensure compliance with ICAO SARPs to raise the status of our aviation sector. The Maritime Industry Agency will focus on making St. Maarten a global leader in the maritime industry, which is a cornerstone of our economy. The recent economic impact study highlights the sector's significant contribution to the GDP and the need for a sustainable practice to ensure its long-term growth. Next, we have the Investment Promotion Agency, the IPA, will attract foreign investment, driving economic growth and job creation. And finally, the revitalization of the Economic Development Corporation, the EDC, will support local businesses and entrepreneurs, driving our island's innovation and economic growth. Then we have just an overview of upcoming legislation. There's an overview of upcoming laws and policies that are currently under development. The Gaming and Cannabis Ordinance are expected to be presented to Parliament during Q2 and Q3 of this year. We also expect to have the Public Transportation and Updated Economic License Policy ready for late 2025 and draft legislation during 2026. And also, in the near future, some agriculture-related policies are expected to be established late this year with an ordinance expected for 2026. With that, Madam Chair Lady, this concludes my presentation for 2025 for the Ministry of TIAT, and I look forward to questions and support. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister Grisha Heiliger Martin, for the presentation of your ministry's budget policies and intentions. We now go over to the Minister of Justice, and I ask if any time is needed for a brief transition to the Minister. Yes, we are going to adjourn for 5 minutes as we transition from the Ministry of Tiat to the Ministry of Justice. Meeting adjourned for 5 minutes.